Recently, we took a look at what's been going on in the Pokemon Seal market throughout 2024, going into now 2025. We looked at what was going on TCG Player, and we looked at what was going on over here in the UK. Well, now we're going to be taking a look at the 10 biggest price shifts that happened throughout 2024. And we're talking about single cards. So we talked about already, the booster boxes, the Seal products, but today it's all about the cards, baby. And we're going to be taking a look on TCG Player, so let's get into it. Here we have it, the 10 biggest shifts that happened in 2024. Where we go, we see the Moonbreon right there. So it says 2024 was a good year, of course. I mean, yeah, we did see some incredible stuff happen. I mean, look, if you have stuff in your collection or you're doing things for investing or anything like that, last year was a very, very good year. Of course, if you were looking at picking up stuff now that you thought about getting last year, you may have to think twice because things went pretty crazy last year with some real big, heavy movements. And like, I actually think, since the start of this channel, last year was probably one of the biggest years that I've seen so far, right? Over the last few years, since the pandemic, this has just been absolutely incredible. So, starting things off, we have the Blaziken OR VMAX from Chill and Rain. Of course, the Flamin' Chicken KFC coming in at nearly $300. That is absolutely bonkers. Over the past year, so throughout 2024, this card has actually dropped, but it is still up from where it once was. It was started at $165. It did reach highs of $405, and now it is slowly trickling back up towards $300. So we have here the initial price. So it says January 1st, it was $161, and then the final price, $291, which was on December 18th. So overall, it went up by 80%. That is next level stuff. So it says here, alternate art Blaziken is just so it says here, coming into the year at just $160, the Blaziken has nearly doubled its price over April as Pokemon standard format rotated. So that is one big implication that we do have when it comes to a lot of these cards, and we'll be seeing that year on year when rotations happen and cards shift and move, and the prices will correspond to that as well. And on top of that, don't forget, Chill and Rain did get pretty expensive. Booster boxes, were no longer available on the Pokemon Center website last year, and then it just boomed. Plus, with the tough pull rates, it's a perfect storm for this Flamin' Chicken. Incredible card. Then number 9, we are going back in time. We are looking at the Double Crisis Team Aqua's Kyogre EX. This artwork is insane. The Kyogre and the Groudon, in my opinion, are some of the nicest cards in the XY era. Just straight up, right? Just absolutely straight up. This one is $200. Over the past year, this card went from $90 and is pretty much more than doubled in value. So it says here the initial price $95 in January, and then going up to the end of the year, $226. It's gone up by 136%. Wowza, that is next level stuff. It says this card and its match the Team Magma's Groudon, which, look at that artwork, guys. That just looks incredible. Let's have a quick look at the price chart of this one. So this one's actually a lot cheaper than the Kyogre. Go back over the past year. See, look, they're roughly around the same price, but it was the Kyogre that really broke away. This one is just next level. Double Crisis is expensive. It is a very, very expensive set. Not a huge set, not that many cards that I personally like from here, but yeah, the Kyogre and the Groudon for me is just absolutely next level. Moving on to number 8, we've got the OR Leafeon VMAX from Evolving Skies. We're looking at $320 for this one over the past year. We have seen it go from that $160 up to $350. It did dip by $100, and now it's slowly bouncing back up to where it once was. So it says here the initial price was $165, and then it ended the year at $299. What's now got up a little bit more since then. 133 was the price shift, and 80% overall. Evolving Skies has had an incredible year in 2024, with the booster boxes pretty much reaching $1,000 a box, and with all the big old arts really shifting up in price. Yeah, fantastic year for Evolving Skies. It'll be interesting to see what happened this year in 2025. I kind of have a feeling it might slow down a little, but who knows? It is just crushed it, pretty much everywhere. Then we got the Magikarp coming in number 7. We got the Fish from Paldea Evolved. This one's done very well. For a regular illustration rare, I remember when the set came out, and everybody loved the Magikarp, but it was like making moves, and everyone's like, wait a minute, what's going on with this? And now look at it. So, yeah, we look back over the past years, now $208. This fishy boy, useless Pokemon, coming in at $67, and it's just made incredible, well, pun intended, waves. So we're looking at the overall price of this one, the start of the year, $61, going up to $201. it's had a 226% increase. That is incredible. And on top of that, Paldea Evolved, it's getting more expensive. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, when this fish tripled in price to $60 during the release weekend of Paldea Evolved, I thought it was a fluke. So there you go. The person thought it was a fluke. And, you know, it dipped a little bit. It jumped up and then it did dip a little bit. I think it actually dropped to like $100 or so. I think we can see it here. So it did go to 150 and it was around 110. It was like, okay. And then boom, over the last 3 months, just next level stuff. Then number 6, we got the Gengar and the Tag Team Mimikyu GX from Team Up. Big climber here, $405. Not quite as much as the old Gengar VMAX, of course, but still very, very good. Over the past year, this card has been doing bits, you know. I mean, if you said to me, do I think this year this card would have reached $400? I would have said no. It did have a big boom in 2023, like a lot of the Sun and Moon era cards did, and then a lot of them dropped. And this one did drop in the back half of 2023. So it started 2024 at a much lower price, but it is bounced back up, which is very, very impressive. So we have here $271 at the start of the year, $475, gone up by $203, 74% increase. Not quite as like craziness as we saw with the Magikarp, but still very, very good. Of course, then we've got the Giratina V coming number 5, Lost Origin, big old art, $532. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. So this one a year ago, $250, it was approaching that 300 mark, and I was thinking to myself, wow, this is some real next level stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this to me is, at the time, close to that Umbreon level, you know what I mean? And it went right up to nearly 500, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. We did see a big boom, in the middle of the year, of Sword and Shield arts, kind of like what we did with Sun and Moon last year. It was like history was repeating itself. And then it kind of just dropped throughout the winter, like summer and the winter. So 470, and then went all the way down to 326. It dropped $150. That's a big, big drop. Maybe it could have been like, well, I say maybe, it was a good time to buy it if you picked it up at that 326, because now it's gained $200 since then. So it has here, 235 at the start, 485, well, it's gone up a little bit more since December 18th. So it's gone up by 106%. This is bonkers. We see Lost Origin booster boxes pushing, towards $300 a box. Such a nice card. So difficult to pull. We've never pulled it on the channel. Of all the packs we've opened, over 1,000 packs of Lost Origin at least, and we still have not been blessed with this Giratina. One day. Then we have the Rayquaza VMAX from Evolving Skies. This one's been doing bits as well, to go alongside all the other crazy evolutions from the set. This is a big card, right? Always has been. $530 over the past year. It's done very well. It was $250, then we saw a big boom of Evolving Skies happen. So it went up to $580, $550, which is next level stuff. And then it dropped by, again, like $150, which is a big chunk. And then it bounced back up to pretty much where it once was. Huge, huge card. It's gone up 104%. It's gained $261 this year. Big money cards. To think modern era cards reaching this type of money, who would have thought? And this is raw. This isn't even graded, which is just so good. Then we got the Gengar from Fusion Strike. This one's been very impressive to me. Like, very, very impressed. So this one, $520 pretty much over the past year. This one was always a big card, right? But I didn't expect it to be this big. It had a big boom in the summer, or coming into the summer, along with all the other big old art booms. And everyone was like, wow, look at this Gengar. It's $400, guys. This is next level stuff. And then again, it dropped by over $100. And I did a video covering the fall of the old art prices. And kind of saying, like, look, I believe it's like, this situation was, kind of unusual, but kind of also similar to what was happening with Sun and Moon. And then it started to trickle up, and then over the past 3 months, it's just had this even bigger boom and have surpassed it. So absolutely incredible. 137% this went up. $300. Gengar, I mean, look, Fusion Strike booster boxes, $300 a box. You're pushing, $400 a box. So yeah, this is just next level craziness with Fusion Strike. Still haven't pulled it, like the Giratina. Never pulled this card. Over 1,000 packs of Fusion Strike. One day. Then we got my all-time favorite Pokemon card. Like, just, this is my favorite. Out of every single card in every single set, this is my all-time favorite Pokemon card. I still don't have this. It's so, so expensive. We're looking at the Latias and Latios GX, our tag team from Team Up. Beautiful card. Stunning. So this one, over the past year, this was already an expensive card, right? This was known as like the most expensive modern era Pokemon card, raw. And that's what it was like, right? And, you know, for 1,000 or 1.1k for a card is next level stuff. I mean, to go from 700 to gaining $400 in value in a year for a card that's that expensive is very, very impressive. So let's take a look at this. It's gone up 74% for a card that was, you know, at the start of the year, $700 to then go up by 74%. Just absolute madness. And then don't forget, Team Up went super expensive as well. Just all of it. Absolute craziness. Then, of course, taking the top spot is kind of obvious. It is the Moonbreon from Evolving Skies. It had a fantastic year last year in 2024, along with pretty much anything Evolving Skies related. 1.4k for a raw Pokemon card that only came out, what, 3 years ago? Just absolute pure insanity. Over the past year, it went from $540 to 1.4k. Let's take a look at the Moonbreon. It went up by 153%, right? So we're looking at this. It was $538, went up to 1.3, nearly 1.4k. Guys, it is just insanity. Can this card reach $2,000? Can it? Can we see a modern era card raw go up to $2,000? I have mine. It is in a PSA 10, which I'm super happy with. And like, what is crazy is when I got it graded, when it came back as a 10, the value of that card then, which was about 2 years ago now, the value of that card is $400. What at the time was $400 to $500 less than what it is now raw. In 2 years, it's crazy. Like, what the hell? Like, so yeah, $2,000 maybe. It'd be really impressive to see if it does. I think it's, for me, and I think for a lot of people, this is like the equivalent of like the modern era, like hype of like a Charizard back in the day. Moonbreon, instant classic. So there you have it, guys. That's what's been going on in the Pokemon single card market throughout 2024. Big money was being made in 2024. Are we going to continue that trend in 2025? This year is more big money being made. I think that is going to be the case with Scarlet and Violet era cards. I think a lot of Scarlet and Violet era cards, we've already seen them already towards the end of this year, which weren't covered in this video. Stuff like the Bubble Mew, the Charizard from 151, of course you had the Greninja and Pikachu, but cards that have seen real big booms. We saw the Magikarp, but I think there are other cards that are on their way to go up there, right? One card which I think is really impressing me is the Bubble Mew from Paldea Fates. That card has just been doing incredibly well. And yeah, I think keep an eye on Scarlet and Violet era cards. But Sword and Shield, I mean, will the Charizard from Brilliant Stars start booming in 2025? Will we start seeing maybe like the Espeon from Fusion Strike, the Machamp, and the Lugia? Will we seeing those cards go up this year? Who knows? If it's far into the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button, make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content. Let me know your thoughts about these cards down in the comments. Do you think the Moonbreon will reach $2,000 by the end of 2025? So do you think it's going to go from 1.4k to 2k raw? Are we going to actually see it? We're going to see a $2,000 card raw happen in 2025. I hope so. And I think on top of that, we might even see some other cards reaching $1,000 raw. Will the Giratina and Gengar get there and become $1,000 raw? We've already saw the Pikachu reach as high as $600. It did drop to $450, but we did see some absolute madness. Also, don't forget this year, you're going to be having the Eevee set drop in, literally in a matter of weeks. And then on top of that, you're going to be having Team Rocket down the line. We don't know what's going to be in that set yet, but I can guarantee you that the Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions will be a very, very expensive card. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm super hyped, and yeah, I think this year is going to be probably just as good, if not better, than 2024. But that is it from me, guys, in today's video. If you want more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on the screen, and of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But as always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.